What if you could choose your child's intelligence? Like before they were even born?
Sounds like something ripped straight out of a movie, doesn't it?
Totally. But, well, today we're taking a deep dive into something that's not fiction anymore. It's really bubbling up in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, we're talking about wealthy tech executives spending pretty significant sums.
Huge sums, actually. Genetically screening embryos and the specific aim, what they're calling high IQ babies. Baby geniuses, even.
It's a topic that honestly pushes all sorts of boundaries, technology, ethics, what it even means to be human, really.
Definitely. So for this deep dive, we've gone through a whole stack of recent reports, articles,
Yeah.
trying to pull out the key stuff.
Right, looking at the motivations, the actual methods, some really cutting-edge stuff, and of course, all the controversy swirling around it.
And our mission today, just to be clear, for you listening, is really to unpack this. It's complex, it's ethically charged, no doubt about it.
We want to shed some light on what's happening, why people are doing this, how they're doing it, and maybe what it could all mean.
Exactly. And we're not here to pick sides, not at all. Just present the info, lay it out impartially, so you can get the full picture of this evolving trend.
Okay, so let's start with the what. What exactly is going on here?
At its core, right, it's Silicon Valley parents investing thousands, sometimes tens of thousands.
Yeah, to screen multiple embryos produced through IVF.
And the goal they state is identifying the embryo that's statistically most likely to become, well, a baby genius.
And this isn't just theoretical, right? There are actual companies offering this.
Oh yeah, right now, startups like Nucleus Genomics
Yeah,
and Harrisite.
that's right. They're providing this genetic testing specifically for IVF couples, and the services explicitly include IQ predictions.
And the cost. You mentioned thousands, but some are pretty steep.
They really are. Nucleus Genomics may be around $6,000, but Harrisite, their services can go up to $50,000.
$50,000. Wow, that's a serious investment before a child's even conceived.
It absolutely is. It really shows the length some are willing to go to.
But this whole idea, this pursuit of genetic optimization, it doesn't just stop at the IVF clinic, does it?
No, not at all. It actually goes quite a bit broader. You've got tech execs shelling out even more money.
More than 50 grand.
Potentially, yeah. For professional matchmakers. And
Yeah.
these matchmakers openly say they select partners based on things like genetics, educational outcomes, and legacy.
Seriously, like specifying desired genetic traits in a partner.
Apparently so. There's one example, Jennifer Donnelly, who charges up to $500,000.
$500,000.
Yeah. And her tech CEO clients reportedly prefer partners with Ivy League backgrounds. It's about trying to build this perceived intellectual lineage right from the start.
Okay, so that's the what. The practices, the money involved.
Yeah.
It's pretty astonishing. But let's dig into the why. What's driving this really expensive and, let's face it, ethically murky quest?
I think a key insight here is the Silicon Valley mindset itself. For many there, life is seen as, well, an optimization problem.
Like coding, but for biology.
Kind of, yeah. It's not just business models. They're extending it to their own gene pool. Parenting becomes this ultimate startup venture.
The ultimate startup,
Yeah.
where the child is seen as a product to optimize, that feels uncomfortable.
It does. Less a unique individual, more something to be engineered for success. And we have some really striking examples.
Like the Collins couple.
Yeah,
Simone and Malcolm Collins, they're involved in that pronatalist movement, right?
that's them. Leaders in that movement both work in tech and venture capital. They have 4 kids through IVF.
And they used Harrisite.
Yes. Initially, they said to screen for low cancer risk, which is, a more standard use of PGT.
Okay.
But they were also reportedly thrilled, that's the word used, that the chosen embryo was in the 99th percentile, in likelihood of having really exceptionally high intelligence.
The 99th percentile for intelligence. Wow. And didn't they have an unusual name picked out?
Oh, get this. They plan to name him Demisen, after a character in a sci-fi novel who runs a warship called Falling Outside the Normal Moral Constraints.
Falling outside the normal moral constraints. Okay. That's quite a statement.
It certainly adds a layer of, let's say, intense philosophy to it all. And it's not just them.
Right. There was another couple, software engineer.
Well, in the Bay Area, they used a Google spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet?
For what? To break down their parasite results meticulously, weighing traits against each other with this almost clinical precision.
Like how?
Asking questions like, what percent additional lifetime risk for Alzheimer's balances a 1% decrease in lifetime risk for bipolar? Or how much additional risk of ADHD cancels out against 10 extra IQ points?
Whoa. Trading off potential Alzheimer's risk against bipolar risk, ADHD against IQ points, using a spreadsheet.
Exactly. The embryo they picked had the highest total score based on their calculations and the third highest predicted IQ.
That level of calculation,
Yeah.
it just feels so removed from the human side of having a baby. It's almost chilling.
It really is. But there's another layer to the why for some people, isn't there? Something bigger, more existential.
Yes, this is where it gets even broader. This guy, J.V. Benson-Tilson.
Right. He spent years, like 7 years, researching how to stop AI from destroying humanity.
And his conclusion.
He concluded it wasn't possible. So now he's arguing that widespread genetic testing to create a generation of geniuses is actually one of our best hopes to save humankind from AI.
Wow, okay. So breed smarter humans to outsmart the machines.
That's the argument. He even co-founded a nonprofit, the Berkeley Genomics Project, to support this. And he emphasizes parental choice, trying to distinguish it from historical eugenics.
But the goal is explicitly smarter humans because of AI risk. And he's not alone in thinking this way.
Apparently not. There's a group of computer scientists in Berkeley known as the rationalists.
The rationals, right. They focus on reason, evidence, existential risks.
Exactly. And they reportedly share this fear about AI and are also looking into, well, breeding smarter humans. It's a pretty wild justification.
It really connects that deep tech culture anxiety about AI directly to these very personal, high-tech genetic choices.
Absolutely. A fascinating, if maybe alarming, why.
Okay, so the why is complex, mixing optimization culture with these big existential fears. But let's get practical. The how. How are they actually doing this? What are the technologies?
The main tool is PGT, pre-implantation genetic testing. You know, for couples doing IVF, multiple embryos are often created.
And PGTs usually for serious genetic diseases, right? Like single gene disorders.
Traditionally, yes. But these parents are using it differently. They're looking at something called polygenic risk scores, or PES.
Polygenic, meaning many genes.
Exactly. These aren't looking for one single IQ gene. They're incredibly complex statistical models. They scan thousands of tiny genetic variations across the embryo's DNA.
Okay, and then what?
They use that data, compare it to large population data sets, and try to predict the likelihood of complex traits, like height, risk of certain diseases, and, controversially, IQ.
Likelihood, so it's probability, not certainty.
Critically important point. These are statistical probabilities based on current, imperfect models. They are not destiny, not by a long shot.
And all the sources really stress this, don't they? There's no genius gene.
Absolutely. Intelligence is described as this wildly complex tapestry. It's thousands of genes interacting, yes, but also profoundly shaped by environment, upbringing, nutrition, love, even just chance.
So these scores,
Yeah.
they're definitely not a crystal ball.
Far from it. They offer a statistical hint, maybe, but they don't guarantee anything, and they certainly don't capture everything that makes a person who they are.
Right, so that's the embryo screening part. But what about other ways people are trying to optimize intelligence? You mentioned it goes beyond IVF.
It does. There's what some are calling a sperm bank gold rush.
A gold rush?
Yeah, high demand for sperm, specifically from Ivy League graduates, even Nobel Prize winners.
Wow, so people see it like a lottery.
Exactly. Some view it as a genetic lottery, and they just want to buy what they think is a good ticket.
Trying to stack the genetic deck from the very beginning. And then there's stuff during pregnancy, too, the sort of biohacking.
Oh, yes. Extreme stuff sometimes. Ultra expensive, custom-made prenatal supplements, data-driven diets meant to boost the baby's brain development.
Trekking everything, I bet.
Tracking every conceivable pregnancy metric with apps, wearables, and then even after birth, things like audio womb environments for supposed brain stimulation.
It sounds exhausting. Like a full-on performance, data-driven, right from conception.
That's the vibe. A belief, maybe, that every variable can be controlled and optimized for the perfect outcome.
Okay, it all sounds incredibly advanced, maybe even impressive in a technical sense.
Yeah.
But it also raises Well, a lot of red flags. Let's move to the concerns, the ethical alarms, the scientific questions.
And those alarms are ringing pretty loudly. Bioethicists are definitely warning this kind of testing is fundamentally unfair.
Unfair how?
Well, Hank Greeley is the director of the Center for Law and the Biosciences at Stanford. He put it very vividly. He described it as a great science fiction plot.
Yeah. What was the plot?
The rich people create a genetically supercaste that takes over, and the rest of us are proles.
Wow. A genetically supercast.
Yeah.
That's the kind of dystopian future you read about, not something people are actively trying to engineer now. It really makes you stop and think.
It certainly does. The societal implications are huge.
And besides the big ethical picture, what about the science itself? Are these IQ predictions even accurate? Are they reliable?
That's a major point of contention. Experts really question the accuracy. Shai Karmi, he's an associate professor at Hebrew University.
What does he say?
He states these tests probably make only a 3 or 4 point difference in a child's actual IQ. It's statistically tiny, basically.
So not exactly creating geniuses then.
His quote is, "It's not going to be something to make your child a prodigy." And beyond accuracy, there's this risk of unintended consequences.
Wing.
Sasha Gusev, a statistical geneticist at Harvard Med School, warns about this. He says, by selecting for what you think are high IQ genes, you could unwittingly be selecting on an embryo with the highest autism spectrum disorder risk, because some of the same genetic pathways might be involved.
Oh, wow. So you aim for one trait and accidentally increase the risk of something entirely different and potentially challenging. That's a huge potential downside.
It really is. And it seems to get kind of overlooked in this relentless drive for optimization.
Which brings up another point. This whole mindset seems to be missing something crucial, doesn't it? The actual human element.
That's a really profound critique coming through in the sources. Yes, this focus on optimization completely neglects the vital role of love, attachment, emotional security.
Things you can't measure on a spreadsheet.
Exactly. Neuroscience tells us again and again the single biggest predictor of a child's healthy development, cognitive, social, emotional, and however, isn't genes or fancy tech. It's a secure, loving bond with their caregivers.
It's the nurturing.
Fundamentally, yes, nurturing the human spirit.
So what happens then if these, performance-driven parents get a child who doesn't quite meet the specs they ordered?
That's a deeply worrying question, isn't it? Imagine growing up feeling like a science experiment, a product that has to perform.
The pressure must be immense.
Absolutely. In that kind of cold, high-pressure environment, a child's potential could actually be diminished, even crushed. You risk fostering anxiety, burnout, maybe a total lack of self-worth.
Because they're optimizing for the wrong thing. Output over being human.
Precisely. Focusing on output over humanity, data over emotion, that seems to be a core criticism.
And finally, let's talk societal impact. Inequality. This isn't cheap, right?
Not even close. This technology is definitely a luxury item for the ultra-wealthy.
So the concern is?
The potential to create a world where the rich gain not just advantages through wealth and education, but a perceived biological advantage too.
Widening that inequality gap even further.
Dramatically. It could really undermine the whole idea of meritocracy, the idea that success comes from effort and talent. If success is seen as innate, predetermined by genes you could afford, what does that do to our society?
It implies success isn't earned, it's bought or inherited genetically.
Right.
Reshapes the whole idea of achievement.
Yeah. So kind of wrapping it up, the sources frame this trend as maybe a symptom of a wider culture.
A culture that values.
That values output over humanity, data over emotion, and optimization over the beautiful, messy, unpredictable chaos of life.
That's a powerful summary. It really seems like a reflection of deeper anxieties, especially maybe in a world dealing with so much information and the rise of AI we talked about.
It really does.
So this deep dive, it's really laid bare that tension, hasn't it, between the allure of these designer babies, the perceived advantage.
And the very significant ethical and scientific concerns that come along with it.
It's definitely more than just some quirky tech trend. It feels like a window into how we're starting to think about the future of humanity itself.
And maybe that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. If the stated goal for some is, saving humanity or improving it,
right?
Does optimizing the individual like this truly serve the collective good, or does it actually risk fragmenting us even more, creating these perceived castes we talked about?
Does optimizing the few help the many, or just divide us further? That's definitely something to chew on as these technologies keep developing.